Good evening, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Business PNG. Civil Aviation Minister Davis Stephen has urged the contractor building the new 82 million kina Goroka Airport to do a good job. Goroka Airport is one of Eastern Highlands' biggest infrastructure development that will boost business and tourism growth into Nokondi land. The airport is funded by an Asian Development Bank loan, and Chinese contractor Covec will be building the new infrastructure. Last Friday's public opening in Goroka, Eastern Highlands Governor Julie Soso has to address ongoing critiques about service delivery from other politicians within the province. Bethany Harriman reports for Business PNG.
A high-level delegation arrived in Goroka last week Friday to attend the launching of the revamp of the Goroka Airport. A huge event in Goroka's National Park marked the beginning of infrastructure development. The old Goroka Airport will be torn down and replaced with another state-of-the-art airport following Lays Nadzab and Mount Hagen's Kagamuga. This infrastructure development aims to give Goroka the image of the second largest city in the Highlands region. It's an infrastructure development that will market Goroka as a business and tourism destination. It comes as the provincial government and Governor Julie Soso face stiff criticism over service delivery. The infrastructure will be built from an Asian Development Bank loan that's valued at 82 million kina. It's going to be built by Chinese contractor Covec. Politicians who attended the opening include Lands Minister Benny Allen, Eastern Highlands Governor Julie Soso and Civil Aviation Minister Davis Stephen.
Taking this time, thank you, Minister, Civil Aviation, the member SLI.
During his speech, Benny Allen talked about aerodrome land across the country and the shortage of government land.
You look in some houses stop long highway inside the airport area. I'm supposed to stop Anit Law Airport Corporation. Now today I'm stop Anit Long hand law private individuals. I'm not supposed to make him all same. So me like talk out law today I know you people of Eastern Highlands or same. Me by revoke him title, now restate him this title he come back law and I see. Me walk law.
Civil Aviation Minister Davis Stephen, during his speech, urged the contractor to complete the job within time and budget.
Our people in Goroka must be remembered. Our people in this district, in this district and in this province, must also be reminded of the important place that they take in our nation's emphasis and priorities. Today, we come on behalf of the national government. Serious.
The minister and the people of the Eastern Highlands got the response from the contractor.
We will complete this project, the new Goroka Airport project, in a high quality and on time.
Minister Davis Stephen later explained in this interview why he urged the contractor to do the job well. Taxpayers will shoulder the Asian Development Bank loan.
Because when we talk about airports, we talk about massive investments. This is massive capital investment that the country is making. ADB, this multi-faceted loan facility is a loan. Ultimately, our people pay for it. And so any delay or any mismanagement of the projects and program will ultimately come back to the taxpayer. My role as minister is to make sure that it happens, and it happens in time and within budget.
People like him or same, you complete him that deliver the best quality blow or airport long you can get him big balus and come to Goroka. Big balus come to Goroka means more people come into Goroka. Now more business, by me boosting economy. Or some tourism na something become na me by one kind of some another plus town cities inside long Papua New Guinea.
The Goroka Airport is part of a group of airports around the country getting upgraded to make them more conducive for investors and tourism.
With this infrastructure, I believe there's going to be more investors coming into Goroka town, coming into Eastern Highlands now. Lately we had number one super opening up their office here, and NDB has a plan to change the face of the office, and then we have day tech coming in, and we have more businesses who are thinking of coming in, and bigger NGOs, international NGOs, and we have the national department, regional offices coming in here, opening up here in Goroka, so yes.
Goroka's economic growth hinges on the airport's development and a 4-lane highway that has been promised by a lady governor who has received criticism for service delivery in the province.
Tomorrow that's all Prime Minister supporting me. Bami send in market na ba you looking? Bami send in market, me mama ground.
She vented her frustrations into a public audience that weren't receptive to her speech. She later explained why she had to firmly defend herself in public.
For me as a leader, I'm open to criticisms. I'm open to people saying all kinds of things. I'm open and I'm prepared to face come 2017 challenges. Who wants to challenge me? I'm prepared to, accept challenges.
Goroka is the second largest city in the Highlands, and this puts pressure on the provincial government's service delivery mechanisms.
When we come back, a brand new edition of the Oxford Business Group Corner with Marco Venditti.
I sat down for an interview with Alex Wilson, the general manager of the Grand Papua Hotel, and anyone who has been longer than a weekend in Port Moresby most likely met Alex as well. Not only because the Grand Papua has become one of the city's focal points over the years, but also because Alex has one of those personalities which everybody like, especially in a 5-star hotel. His genuine curiosity is like a magnet card for the guests, and if anyone wants to know a thing or two about this part of the world, Alex is the man to talk to. From Australia to his native Fiji, or from Hong Kong to Papua New Guinea, Alex has seen it all, or what he proudly calls my home. Yes, because Melanesian identity is not an abstract concept anymore, although modern communication has pulled this region apart more than together in recent years, with few direct flights connecting these dispersed and scattered islands. But high on the hills of Port Moresby, the Grand Papua looks out to the sea, where centuries before, Melanesian sailors settled on the coast of what is today modern Port Moresby. Today, international businessmen follow on each other's heels, chasing the abundant natural resources of Papua New Guinea, and most likely, sooner or later, they will land at the Grand Papua Hotel for a drink or two to quench their thirst of knowledge. Alex, thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for having us here.
You're
for the
very
show.
welcome. Welcome.
Yeah. What a beautiful
nice
location.
to see you again.
Yes, excellent. So Alex, let's talk about sustainability. This is PNG as a country has for a long time relied on extractive industries, oil, gas, mining, but we know that this has a short fuse, and the country has to start to think longer term. And perhaps tourism is one of those sectors that can provide jobs, employment, and long-lasting economic benefits. Do you think this is the time really to look at tourism in a different ways?
I believe so. I think this is the best time, actually. And there's quite a few examples out there. I mean, we can use various countries, both in the region and internationally and far and wide, in regards to where PNG is and how it actually all materialized for those other countries also. And they also had their own extractive resources that they actually exported. And now PNG has got to look at itself. There's huge potential here. There's huge opportunities here. Actually, it's immense. I think if anything, it's probably just as good as any other country in a developed or modern world, or even better. Tourism is so sustainable. We can see that in some of the countries in the region, such as Fiji, Cook Islands. Tahiti is another. But all these beautiful countries also has a lot more to offer in the region. And one of the key elements to that, and I think is a huge selling point, is the people. And here we just need to get that commitment from the people that they want to become a brand on the international stage for tourism, with tourism, and also to really look at the risk element on what there is so that they can actually help themselves grow further with the brand.
We were talking about community effort. The idea that at the end of the day, promoting tourism shouldn't be just the effort of the government or the institutions, but it should be also the people. They should own, in a way, and feel that this is an industry that has a lot of rewards for them as well, and it has to be a community effort in promoting this country for tourism. You feel that is the valuable?
I totally agree with you. At the end of the day, tourism is about its people, what else it has in offerings, and not so much a point of difference. I mean, just alluding earlier to sustainability, you will always have the people and you'll always have the culture. At the end of the day, you've got to keep sort of re-engineering the things that you do, reinvesting in what you're doing, reinventing yourselves in what you do, whether you come next year and it's a bigger smile or you've got a slightly more different offerings. So all those things, all those elements are actually driven, and the success of it is driven by the communities, not so much about governance. So it's so true that it highlights that you cannot rely solely on the government to go out there and sell the brand of PNG or go out there and sell PNG as a brand. What the communities have to realize is that when you have the visitors at your doorstep, the experience starts from there, not from a brand banner, not from a sort of exhibition out in a different international venue or an exhibition site. No, it's not. The actual experience starts right from when they land and arrive at the country. So when that happens, there's very little risk from that arrival experience to that departure experience. Now, the communities could be off the mainland, as an example. So the experience of arriving here in Port Moresby, catching a flight the following day out to that resort or to a dive venue or to visit a volcano or to go out fishing, all those sort of things. The destination is out there. And at times, a lot of communities believe that the destination is where they actually stay and arrive and
But
live.
there's a lot in the middle.
But in the middle, there's a lot of processes. There's a lot of risks. There's a lot of opportunities, and that's part of the brand. So the experience doesn't start on an island. The experience starts right when they arrive in the country, and that's so critical. So every community must be involved. Every community must play a part. Every community must be convicted to make things happen. So when they arrive, from the customs agent that welcomed them, to the taxi driver that drives them to the hotel in Port Moresby to stay overnight with a huge smile, a clean vehicle, a smart vehicle, educating the visitors on the way to the airport on how beautiful this country is, the offerings it has to offer, the people, the natural beauty, all those things.
It's a whole package.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I feel that this is a great opportunity because at the end of the day, Papua New Guineans really have a good nature. I mean, I do feel on a daily basis, when you walk down the street, when you meet people at every level of society, they're very pleasant. I just get the feeling that perhaps they didn't think that tourism was such an important industry, also because maybe the government didn't stress that idea strongly enough to them.
I think we undervalue ourselves, I think, here in Papua New Guinea. And what I mean by that is that if you get outside of the key city centers and you go out and you see the hospitality there, it is very, very different from the hospitality here in the city centers. Out there, you might not have one piece of fencing out there to actually barricade someone to enter their own little turf of hospitality. No, it doesn't exist. And the hospitality there is so overwhelmingly beautiful and natural and original. This is something that we've got to look at because we undervalue ourselves. Whereas here, fine, we might want to compete with what the rest of the world is offering in regards to some of the brands such as the Grand Papua Hotel, Intercontinental Hotels is an example, the Airways Hotel, to name a few. But I think the opportunity is immense that when we go out and we market ourselves, we also believe that our people are so hospitable, and they are.
And they are.
And the key thing about that also is that we just don't know much about ourselves. We undervalue our hospitality, and that's so, so key for the people of PNG. I mean, especially now when you take it from a global perspective, there's a lot of risk that's happening around the world. So in regards to a friendly, non-high risk destination for travelers is shrinking, and PNG can really outsmart the rest by being genuine about themselves, being hospitable about themselves, and do exceptionally well in the tourism
And we've seen this during the Pacific Games. I mean, what a spectacle that was. So many countries, so many different nationalities, and it just went so smoothly, and it was beautiful to see the sort of fraternity that there was between the Melanesian people. That really shows that this is in the nature of the people, really welcoming and friendly and warm, in a sense.
It's always been there.
Yes.
It's always been in the Papua New Guineans. But again, we underestimated how good we can be and how hospitable we can be. We've always been. It's in our DNA here in PNG. But we just need to actually make sure that however we behave, however we actually welcome our visitors to this country here, we did exceptionally well and be genuine about it. It's amazing. It becomes a brand within itself. It sells itself, and that's what it's all about.
When you talk about Papua New Guinea, you're talking about we, like you're talking like you are from Papua New Guinea, but you are not. You're actually from Fiji. But you feel at the end of the day, this is your country in a way.
The reason being is that my heart is in Papua New Guinea. I think this country is a beautiful country. I think the people are beautiful. I work internationally. I know the industry probably over the last 20 years in working in international countries where tourism also is the key economy. So for here in Papua New Guinea, it isn't. So to see that, I would really like to see there's more people embracing tourism as an industry. And also is that I find that the people here can do exceptionally well. I mean, the people here, when you develop them, it's so gratifying, it's so rewarding. But I can only develop people in my industry, and that is the tourism industry. So in many ways, in regards to how we apply ourselves at the workplace, we as expatriate managers in our industry, we sort of apply ourselves as us, or we, not so much I.
As I.
And I think at the end of the day, we got our heart in it, so it's fantastic, and it's very gratifying.
The parallelism between Fiji and Papua New Guinea, as far as I know, PNG attracts 10% of the total tourism in the Pacific, Fiji 41%. So your experience working in Fiji and your experience in PNG, what would you say was different? Why was Fiji successful? What you guys have done over there? What did you learn that could be applied also in PNG?
Well, I'll probably revert to what I actually mentioned earlier. You know, in Fiji, it's really very much in our DNA now. So if you're going back 40, 50 years ago, where tourism started to really evolve itself in Fiji, it really highlights how sustainable it has been for the last 40, 50 years. You know? So it's been tremendous for Fiji because they keep reinvesting them into their business, into their community. They try to get the wider community involved. You know, they have visits into the village. They have open up, welcome. You know, all these things are so engaging. So the communities are so engaging. If anything, the community knows better about tourism.
Yeah, you were saying perhaps people know better, and I think so, because at the end of the day, Fiji had four major setbacks with 4 coups, which potentially could have destroyed, in a way, the tourism industry, but it didn't. On the long run, it came back. So people know better.
Well, it's very true as to what you're saying. In Fiji, with those 4 coups, if anything, it actually took the tourism down below zero, absolutely below zero. And the reason, I think, if there's any word that I could describe of why people were confident enough to return back to Fiji, it wasn't so much the price factor. It wasn't so much the natural beauty in itself. It was more so the people. It was really, at the end of the day, it came back to the people, the providers of an experience. And I think that's something that here in PNG we need to look at, and we can educate ourselves. If there's a key word that we can offer here in PNG, that if we were starting from ground zero as an example, it has to be the people.
I see.
That when people leave here, they take that experience from the people as a brand. And they'll come back and buy it, and they'll return. I know of travelers that go back to Fiji every year for years. That's what we need here.
Yeah, let's talk about perception and also investments. I mean, there's been recently news announcement that the Hilton will be building a major facility in PNG. I mean, there's the Novotel, there's the Intercon already here. Obviously, we're not talking about beginners. These people know what they're talking about. They've done their market research. They're banking heavily on this country. So perhaps perception of PNG is changing somehow. Maybe it's the result of the Pacific Games, or something is happening. Maybe the delivering of the project of ExxonMobil was a great achievement. Something is sort of trickling down in people's mind when it comes to PNG.
I think in regards to hotel investment in this country, there's huge opportunities out there, but also there's huge risks involved. And the Hilton will never ever come to a country ever and hang the banner, the Hilton brand, on top of any building and call it a Hilton Hotel unless they've done their research, unless they've collected their scientific data and they've spoken to researchers and journalists and intellectuals like yourself who has database, who's done your research throughout the country. And once they collect all that, then they actually make that decision. So I personally believe, as a hotelier, that the Hilton Hotel has made the right choice. I'm impressed that they're coming. I'm surprised that they this late, though. I would have preferred that they'd been here some years ago. But then again, that's just the way everything evolves itself. You know, I believe that there's another 1 or 2 more international brands coming to Port Moresby in the next sort of 2 to 3 years, and I congratulate those brands. I think it's great for PNG. I think it's great for Port Moresby. I think it's great for the wider community and the traveling market. These things, if you think that it's more of a risk to us that's currently in the country, I don't think so. If anything, it's a great thing. It will change the perception lines of how people see PNG as a destination. It will change the perception of travelers, would-be travelers to PNG. And all these things are generators and indicators of where to actually, again, coming back to rebranding PNG. But I think PNG also, the people here and the leaders here have to be honest with themselves. If they really want these international brands, and if they really want tourism in this country, and they really want visitors arriving in this country, they have to be very honest about themselves and say, are we the hospitable people of this region? Are we really going to make sure that all 8 million of us will wear a smile, and that's just the way we are? Are we always hospitable, that we're happy to take foreigners and show them down the road on our culture, on our richness in regards to where we're from, our originality, our various different languages and dialects and things like that, and educate these travelers to the country? All those things will change the mindset of generations to come. I think it's a fantastic thing for the country.
But some people are skeptical. They're saying a lot of those developments are just thinking one single event, which will be APEC 2018, and they think that's wrong. You shouldn't really put all your eggs in one single basket. But maybe that's not true. Maybe they're thinking beyond that.
No, I think there's more to it, though. The reason why I say that is that because leading up to APEC and during APEC, it will create local or domestic stimulus in our local societies and local communities here on how tourism works, on how to deal with travelers, because there will be a huge influx of that. See, the other thing that we've got to take into account is that if APEC is so successful, and I believe it will be, imagine Port Moresby becoming a hub for MICE business. And MICE business is meetings, incentives, conference, and events. If people see Port Moresby as a destination for that they can bring regional groups, delegations, and all that to come and have their conferences here in Port Moresby, everybody wins, but we've got to have the facilities. So the Hilton is up and running by then. And they know how to cater to some of the best there is in the world.
I see.
So that will actually help, wave the flag of PNG as a brand for destination in MICE business, in travel, corporate travel, in leisure business, in wholesale business. So everybody wins. It's fantastic.
I see. You're talking about domestic traveling, and we can also talk about international traveling, like connectivity. Obviously, it's the very important issue when it comes to sustaining and supporting the industry. And unfortunately, it's very expensive to travel in PNG, and to arrive in PNG from anywhere internationally is very expensive. More competition will help. Now, we're hoping that more will come. Qantas has helped. Philippine Airlines in the future will be connecting to Manila and Cebu. But obviously, it will be great to have more competition in this part of the world. Don't you agree?
I agree with you. Actually, I've been agreeing with you. No, I totally agree. I suppose one just has to sort of look back. History tells us that 30 years ago, there was only 2 hotels or 3 hotels you can stay in Port Moresby. I think it was the Travelodge Hotel here in town, which is now the Crown Plaza, the Holiday Inn, and the Airways Hotel. And they were the only 3 hotels. So these guys actually manipulated and managed the market. Yeah? And now we've got more than 7, 8 hotels now. The prices are within reason, but it's still affordable according to what we are now, the position we're in now. But I think in regards to Air New Guinea, they really need to look at themselves in what can we do on a domestic level and how we can make it far more affordable. And that is, they should target mainly, because I think if they put in a strategic focus group, they should be able to accommodate the affordability of a family living Brisbane straight up to Kokopo or straight up to KVN as an example. In regards to the time management, I believe that has improved dramatically in quite a few folds. So there's not a problem there. The risk sort of is minimal to zero there. But in regards to the affordability, we've got to compare ourselves. If it's going to cost me 4 times more to fly to Kokopo or to Tufi than Bali, than Fiji, someone has to make a decision and say, you know what, we need competition in the region or here.
Absolutely. Australia, that's where you worked. You worked in Thailand, in Vanuatu, in Cook Island, in London, then you arrived in PNG. What's going to be next for you, Alex?
Oh. Good question.
The world is a big place, but not so big anymore.
Well, this is it. The world's a big place, but in regards to the selection pool, it can be very restrictive. No, I enjoyed Papua New Guinea. I hope to be around for a little longer, and we'll see how things go.
Well, this country needs managers like you with the sort of thinking that you've shown you have today. So thank you so much for coming to the show, Alex.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you soon, and we'll definitely see you soon for a drink at the Grand Papa. All right.
You are very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
And that's all we have for you tonight. For more business news, so if you would simply like to view this episode again, visit MTV online at www.mtv.com.pg. Or to join the conversation, like our page on Facebook for daily business news or follow us on Twitter at BusinessPNG using the hashtag BusinessPNG. Until next week, enjoy the rest of your viewing on MTV. I'm Leon Jarari and this was Business PNG.